This webinar is part of the STEELS Professional Learning Series on the STEELS Hub. This session is going to focus on the science, technology, and engineering, environmental literacy, sustainability standards, and the foundation boxes. The foundation boxes are a rich resource for use by educators, curriculum developers in the implementation of the standards. The standards have a significant shift in focus. This is where the students will be engaging in science and engineering practices as part of their investigations while applying the disciplinary core ideas and cross-cutting concepts. Students also will be explaining phenomenon using the engineering and science practices, the disciplinary core ideas, and cross-cutting concepts. Through all of this, they will be utilizing critical thinking and problem solving as they approach real-world situations. The standards organization for the foundation boxes is organized in three main sections: the Pennsylvania standards, foundation boxes, and the connections boxes. All of the Pennsylvania standards are also performance expectations as far as what students should know and be able to do. All the standards are three-dimensional. They have three different components, and this is reflected in the foundation boxes. They include the disciplinary core ideas, the cross-cutting concepts, and the science and engineering practices. All three areas are part of the standards. This is an example of the kindergarten standard from Earth and Space. And so we're looking at students who demonstrate understanding, looking at the relationship between the needs of different plants or animals. Now, the way this is stated in the standard is that it includes all three different components or dimensions. So students who demonstrate an understanding can use a model to represent the relationship. So students are using a model between needs of different plants or animals, including humans and the places they live. That is the content. Systems is the cross-cutting concept. So all three components are within the standard, and we will go through what the foundation boxes are. Underneath the standard are clarifying statements and assessment boundaries. The clarifying statements here give examples, they might give more ideas, different types of things to help us understand what the expectations are. The assessment boundaries are generally looked at as for those people or individuals looking at large-scale assessment. However, this is a wonderful little tool that teachers can use in the classroom as they develop their own assessments for the students. Underneath the assessment boundaries, we get into the three different areas. The first one here are the science and engineering practices, and this one is looking at developing models. Of the 8 different science and engineering practices that you see here, developing and using models is the primary focus for this particular standard. However, within the standard, these teachers and students can utilize different things, such as, I sure hope that people are planning and carrying out investigations. We hope that the students are engaging in argument from evidence, but we want to make sure that developing and using models is the primary practice that's being implemented. The next box are disciplinary core ideas. This is pretty straightforward in that this gives a brief description of the content, the disciplinary core ideas within the standard. Students should be going further in depth in the content, but this is a great place to start. The third box are the cross-cutting concepts. This one, as we stated before, are systems and system models. And this is part of 7 different cross-cutting concepts. If we look at this standard a little bit more closely, cause and effect would be also one of the cross-cutting concepts. So it's not just limited to system and system models, but we need to be explicit within the cross-cutting concepts. Underneath this is looking at Pennsylvania context, or ways that we can focus this to make things a little more relevant for students. There will be all kinds of little hints in here, different types of things. The other part that goes along with this is a great place to look at phenomenon. Phenomenon is one of these things that we'll be going further in depth in later on in an additional webinar. But we need to remember that the phenomenon's accessible locally. It's relevant and it's observable that occurs in students' world. This makes it relevant for the student to get at the content utilizing the science and engineering practices. Then one additional item are the PA career and ready skills. This identifies those that connect to it, so they're connections all along the way. Lastly, their connections to other standards and content practices. Here lists possible connections that can be made to ELA, to math, to social studies. This is a great way for the teachers in planning to be able to make a connection from science to these different areas so that we are not necessarily dealing specifically within silos. The foundation boxes are a rich resource in developing curriculum and well as developing lessons. More information regarding the foundation boxes or any component of these will be on the Steels Hub on SAS. You can access that, go through it, or if you have any other questions, contact the Pennsylvania Department of Education, and we will be more than happy to assist you in your questions and your needs. And that's it.